journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, folks, getting back to where we were, I'm watching the 382 retracement here in the NASDAQ. It's quite a bit of ways from where we were in the S&P. The S&P came very, very close. I'm looking at 59.31, okay, and we got to 59.29, so that's what I'm looking at for 382. Remember, they only work part of the time, folks, but this is a very strong trending market. Okay, just on the way up, you never had a chance. This time, they're giving you a chance. It might be a good chance, it might be a bad chance, but it's a good chance, and then you sell it at 31, and you got to put your stop up here because of the wildness of the market. You got to put your stop up here at around 51. There's no way to trade this with less than $1,000 anymore, folks. It's just too volatile. Well, you can do it, or you're going to get stopped out quite a few times. My opinion, of course. Okay, we had one really good one, folks. Let's take a look here. The one that which was our big, the one that we've been following the most, and that is the gold market, and it did exactly what we thought it was going to do. Let's get this up here, and you'll be able to see it. There was our move right here. We're into the August gold contract now, folks, and if you'll remember, we sold this here at 65, if you'll recall. Let's just draw it over so we can see it, and has some really good information on this one too, folks. There was our high way back here, 35.05. There's 135. There's where we sold it, and today we cover it right here. Made a beautiful ABCD pattern, spot on. All I did here is I went from the 4-hour chart down to the 6-hour chart, and you'll see that it stopped exactly where it should have, right here at 267. And now, folks, look how quickly we've come back up. I mean, we've already rallied $90 off the bottom. That's a really strong sign for gold. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's really pretty strong if you look at it that way. Now, the one thing I didn't do was to check to see if this was the 382 off the low back on the 15th. And if it was, that would really validate it. And there it is right there. There's your 382 right on the money. And, didn't go long. I tried it, but it had already taken off. I was looking at it at this level right here, and it gave you one tiny little chance in here if you were watching it microscopically. But right now, gold has changed. It's the bearishness that we've had for the last few days. You can see here the last 5 days, it's been quite bearish. It stopped exactly where it should have today, folks, and that means it's going higher. So watch the 382. One of the things that I was looking at when that bottom, there was the bottom right here. Okay, now, unfortunately, that happened to be at 2 o'clock in the morning New York time. And I was already taking a nap, and as you can see here, from this low to this high, we made the 382 retracement right here. It took 2 hours to make it right here. It gave you another thing, and by the time I get up, it was already up into here. This was 3 o'clock in the morning Tucson time, and we were already going higher. But it worked really good on the short side. If you've been following it all night and looking at those numbers, it would have got you in on the right way, and we'll see if it's going to continue. But right now, gold has changed its structure from being very, very bearish to not being so bearish. When you get $90 back that quickly, it's trying to tell you, hey, there's some people out there buying it. So that's another reason why we're paying attention to this. Now, the other thing that we should look at, since we're watching the 382 on all of these, the Dow Jones has been the weaker of this whole group. Let me just move this over for you today and clean this up. This was last night when the announcement came out right here. That's when the announcement came out, right after the close. And you can see the market went from 2,100 to 2,700, moved 600 points without anybody selling until you got up into this area right here. Looking at the daily chart, you'll be able to see why. There were all those stops that were up in here. They didn't even get some of these up here. See, the Dow Jones didn't even make a new high. That was another thing. And neither did neither did the Russell. The Russell never even came close. All the Dow did was make a 78% retracement off of this, giving your first indication that, yeah, well, maybe this was a short covering rally. Now, I was asleep when most of that was happening, and there's no way I can get 2 videos out in a day, but that's what I saw happening, and it looks like that's what is happening. So I'll have to wait and see from this level right here, but that's what we're seeing here today. Incredible volatility. Now, you'll remember from yesterday's talk that we were on my show yesterday, we were looking at the trade that we liked the best for this week, not counting the gold because the gold was the one from Friday, but we were looking, let me get rid of this here so I can get the picture up on the Treasury bonds, because that's the one that looked like it was ready to have a pretty nice ABCD move here. There it is. You can see we're almost there right now. Here's where we were. Okay, we almost got there, folks. There's your number. We were looking at the ABCD here at 113.13. There it is right there. So far the high has been 113.11, so we should make that. But last night when I sent the video out, I said, this is here. You can see this is 2 o'clock in the morning, New York time. This was making the 135 pattern. There's the 1, the 3, and the 5. So that tells you that you have higher bottoms, and that's exactly what we're looking at. This was your 61%. This was your 61% retracement. You can see it there, 0.634, and it's off by a penny probably. And this one here is probably almost exactly the same. So you mark it from here to here, and you'll see it. There it was when it went below it by 4 or 5 pips, and then you can see where we are now. This is completing up in here. This is a major ABCD pattern. It's taken 8 days, folks, to make this pattern, and it's been I know it looks great from right now, but if you look at this on the daily chart, this is nothing. Look, this is a dead cat bounce. See, this is all this is just a little tiny bounce, and it's not doing very much at all. So it may go a lot higher, but right now it had to, we didn't get below 110. We got to 110.05, and now we're still starting to rally a little bit. So that's what I'm looking at here in the Treasury bonds and the Treasury note. Our guest today will be Jim Bartolioni of Bart's Charts, and he'll be talking to us. The other one, I have to show you the one that I was really wrong on, but it was such a small loss that it didn't make any difference. Well, it does always make a difference, but this was the euro last night, which I love to trade. We had the big ABCD down in the euro, and then we had a beautiful ABCD here this morning. There's that same time. Okay, now this is when the announcement came out. It was after that move. It didn't affect the euro very much, but we completed a beautiful ABCD pattern right there. I just want to show it to you. There's your X point. There's your AB equals C. Didn't draw it in right. Just a second. It's a little too sensitive. And this one cost about a $200. See, these are so close. This program is so sensitive that I have to make an adjustment and bring the low way over here because that's the one I want to catch. And so there it was sitting right there. Perfect ABCD, working okay. And then as soon as we got above here, you knew you were wrong. So your risk here would have been about $200. And if you went long, you can see it had a huge move to the upside. And that's what you want to see. This is probably when that other stuff happened, but I'm not quite sure. Let's take a little break. 877-927-6648.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs? Trade wars? Analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Okay, folks, we're back, and I have a question about our wheat trade that we put on. Remember, we bought this down here at 48. We made $1,200 on that. We bought it back here at 73. It's now trading at 69, 573. It's now trading at 569. So we're out $200. Our stop is right below here. So we either going to win or lose on this. I don't know where it's. I wanted it to stop here, but it doesn't always listen to me. But now we've got 3 little bottoms in here. We've made lower lows 3 days in a row. We made a lower low today by 1/4 cent. So that's a sign that some buying is coming into this. So I like this trade very much, and I can't buy it anymore because I've already bought some. I don't ever want to add to a losing position. That little painting on the wall behind me, the number 1 rule says never add to a losing position. If you do that, you've broken every cardinal rule of trading, folks. You're wrong in your analysis. You've increased your risk exposure, and there's no 2 excuses for that. The number of times that I've done that, it's worked, is maybe 3 out of 60-some years of trading, and I mean that sincerely. Okay, that's the wheat. We'll get this out of the way here, and then we'll move over here, and I want to put these things up here. The natural gas keeps going lower. This is one that I wanted to really talk about, because next Friday when we do our live trading, we've talked about this before, but this is those dynamite triangles that we've been watching here in the crude oil. You notice these valid trend lines where the market makes a valid trend line and then breaks that valid trend line. Sure, it does go down, but during that time you're making a profit. Remember, you're trading a 13-minute chart of something that's got a value of $61,000, and you're only putting up about $2,000 or $2,500 for that. So that's a pretty good deal. Here's on the way down last night. Look, it breaks that one, it breaks that one, and we've got another one coming in right now. You can see here, all you have to do is to draw that in, and if it breaks that, you'll be heading down again, because that's the same type of pattern that is making it move lower, okay? Now you can see these bars, if you counted the bars, 5 bars here, 5 bars here, those were perfect. Okay, if you count the bars and give you the time involved with it, that's it. And remember, we're always watching for the ABCD patterns. You can see one here last night over the last couple days, went right up to the exact number, hit it spot on, as you can see, almost to the exact tick. And I think it missed it by 2 ticks or something like that. And if you miss that, you had a chance to sell it on this pullback or sell it on the breakout. So that's what we're trying to do as we're looking at. Now you're almost getting ready to get another sell signal here, because breaking below here is telling you're going to start going lower, and your stop would have to be above this level right here. So that's what I'm watching as I'm doing this, okay? Now let me do something here quickly, because I want to be able to see all of these things this morning, because we've got a lot of things to talk about, and I want to look and see if that S&P made it up to that level I was looking for. I don't think it did. Where did it go here? Wow, it disappeared. No, it hasn't. I can see it didn't quite make the number. How high did we get? We got to 28.25, and it was supposed to get to 59.30, so that would have been the number we were looking to. Be sure, keep the order in, because I still think it's got a chance. You see, we missed it by just a heartbeat, and so we'll see if it's going to still get there. Could get there very easily, because this is nothing. This is 8 points, and we got another 3 hours of trading, so that's not a problem at all. All right, now let's get back to the big daddy rabbit, and that's NVIDIA. Remember, we were talking about that yesterday. I know I got it here because I put it up here specifically. There it is, right on the top. So hold on 1 second here. Okay, here's NVIDIA, and we said it was going to be. Now, this is one of those situations that we talked about volatility. Remember, here's where we closed, and of course the earnings were coming out. Everybody knew the earnings were, they assumed they were going to be good, and they were very good. The problem was, folks, the market closed at 135, and the option prices, if you would have bought a call, okay, your call would have cost you $700, okay? So you would have covered the cost of your call on the move up if you got out, all right? Because you're going to pay $7 for it, and it opens up $8. That takes care of that. If you did the put, you would have lost your $7 plus $7 more. So the put would have cost you a lot more money because you were wrong. So that the problem is the put premiums on these things, especially coming into the stock like this, it's so widely held. They increase the value of those puts because that's their insurance. They know that it can go the wrong way. So if you want to play that game, then you've got to pay for that insurance, and that's why it's doing that. And so even by buying the put, you lost double on the put because you were wrong when you bought the call. You made a little money to cover the cost of your put, but you haven't made any money other than that. So that's why it's a difficult business. If you want to find a business that you can't lose at, learn to be an option seller. In other words, sell premium. Option sellers win 90% of the time. Option buyers win 10% of the time. Those figures, if you go look in the books, that's exactly what they are. So that's why I don't do puts and calls very often. Only if I'm way down here or something like this, yeah, I'll do it. But, in the middle of these ranges, really, really hard to do. My opinion, of course. And as always, we'll see how it works. We'll go from that level right here. Okay, now, I've covered that. I want to talk just a moment here about Costco, folks, because this is one of my favorite stocks. Virginia, the lady that she was she was the one that gave us our house. But anyway, this was her favorite stock. I've got to do the weekly on this because she looked at this every day. She would come by the house. Folks, she bought this. I'm going to show you where she bought it. Well, you can't even see where she bought it because let's do the monthly. Maybe the monthly will show it. It was way down there. Well, it doesn't give you all the data, but it was really, let's see how far it'll go. Yeah, it was something around $25. Yeah, I think she bought it right in here somewhere. Yeah, $25 right here. Because this is when I moved in here, was in 94. She bought it on this pullback in 2025, I think, or 25. Yeah, they had $25. And she held it the whole way. She was still holding it when she passed away. Back in here, and this went to her heirs, but this has been a great market. The reason why I watch Costco is to see what's happening with their business, giving everything else, because this business is a really, really tough business, this retail business, and they've got the handle on it. You can see here over the last few weeks, it's not been acting nearly as good as the rest of the market, just like Walmart, just like Target, just like some of the others. Whether that means anything, I don't know. Back in the old days, when Richard Russell was doing the thing with the Dow Jones Industrial Average and stuff, it did make difference. But with all electronic trading that we have now, not the same. Things changed back in '96 when the Sos Bandits came and they moved from trading quarter half in stocks to decimals. It started with the NASDAQ, then moved to the Dow, or moved to the S&P, and then moved to the Dow. So now they're doing it. The reason why is they don't need specialists anymore because it's all on computers. That's why they can get a run like that. See, if you were doing paper trade, like when you put orders in back when I was on the floor of the exchange, these orders had to change hand by paper. Now you're looking at little digital things. In other words, those orders are triggered by digits. And boy, they go fast. You get a great fill if there's an order there in front of it. But by gosh, if these were paper trades, this would be a disaster. There would be so many mistakes you wouldn't believe it. But not anymore. Now it's all electronic, and that makes a whole lot of difference. Anyway, I think we've got a break coming up here in 30 seconds. We need to take a look at Apple because it's not performing well still. And we'll be right back with Jim Bartoloneone, folks. Stay with us.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstad releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors. This portion of Trade What You See is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direction.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Okay, folks, I want to take a minute. Bart's got technical difficulties with the internet this morning over there on the ocean there in San Diego. But let's take a look at one that I'm really watching closely, and that's the soybean market. We're looking at November soybeans here. Let's get it up here. This is a potential long-term trade. The reason for it, there's a possibility of some weather problems coming in here with this. We're really close. Hold on. Let me get this daily up here so you'll be able to see it right now. We're looking at this bigger ABCD, but let's get the daily up here. And we've been waiting for this. So there's we hit it. There's the 382. And we just made it this morning right now, right there. Now there's November soybeans. Now these are planted now. They won't be harvested until October. October, November is when the beans start to come in. When you buy a soybean, you get 80% meal and 20% oil. Now you'll notice here we've come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and we've hit the 382 here today at 29. It's now trading at 23. Okay, I was suggesting a buy there because the reason why, that was an ABCD in a bull market. There's your 382. Folks, we have not had a crop scare we've had some crop scares that lasted a week or two. We have not had any bad crops happening for the last 4 years. That puts it way out into the outlier event, because usually it's every three years or so you have a bad crop come in. Either too much rain, not enough rain, too much heat. And so that's what we're watching. Now we're in the middle of it right now. We just finished Memorial Day weekend, and Memorial Day has been, historically, if you go back and look at some of these times, they've had some pretty big runs here in following Memorial Day. But that's what I'm looking at. My risk here is going to be very, very small. I'm only going to risk down below here, so I'm risking 8 cents to be a buyer of November beans. Now, they took out the previous week's low and didn't go any lower at all. And that's another good sign. So if I wanted to, I could put my stop at 8 cents or at 8 cents right now, and not that. That's a pretty good idea, I think. So I bought it at 29. So I think if I were going to do it, I just put a stop at 27. So I'll put the stop here at 10.27, and I become a farmer. I don't have to lease any land. I don't have to own any John Deere tractors. I don't have to buy any seed. I don't have to go to the bank and get a loan from anybody. All I do is I become 5,000 bushels of soybeans are now mine, and I'm a farmer. Now, the price I pay for that, because this is a contract, is it's $10, okay, and there's 5,000 bushels, so this contract is worth $50,000. The margin on this is $3,000. So you're getting 9-to-1 leverage, roughly 9-to-1 leverage to be a farmer with virtually no risk at all. Your risk is if it goes below here, you're done. That's not a bad deal. Look at the farmer. He's stuck there. He doesn't have any choice. He's got to hedge his crop here. Now, it probably costs him about 9 something to do it, so he's going to make a buck a bushel. So if he's got 5,000 bushels, he's going to make $250,000. That's going to be about a 200-acre farm. Anyway, that's what you're looking at right here with this. Now, if we look at the nearby contract of the July, because this is not even finished. This has started growing. The ones that are finished growing are the July. This is the ones they're selling, and they're still selling them to China. Just get this up here, and you're going to see what's happening. Look what's happening, folks. You see what's happening when they said no more tariffs? Look at this. The July soybeans, they've jumped up. Not that much. It's really very 2.9. Wait a minute. This is soybean meal. My bad. Well, it's still, we've been bullish this for a long time, so that don't make any difference. But let's look at the soybeans itself. I hit the wrong button. This is the one I wanted to show you right there. Is the one I wanted. And that should be, you see, it's also been going lower. Now let's look at it. Now, this is completing an ABCD pattern right here. I'm doing November because I think it's got a chance for weather-related. This does not have weather-related in it at all because these bends are in the hopper already. Okay, so let's go to the daily chart, and we'll look at this level right here. And you can see what we've done here. You see, did the same thing This broke through the 382, and what did it do today? Just made another ABCD probably right on the spot. Let's take a look. And no, didn't even make the ABCD, and now it's back above those highs. Folks, here's the key. Look at this. This is April. We had a big low back here in April. The market rallied almost $1 a bushel. That's $5,000. Now it's backed off a little bit. We've come down 50 cents. So it's given half its move back. There's your 50% level right here. So that's where you're 50% back. November beans only made a 382 pullback. Okay, now they're the ones that we just started becoming a farmer this morning. So if you look at this, if we get above here, all right, if we get above here at this time of the year, look at this. You got June, July, August, and September. Now, anything that happens bad through here, this just give you an idea what these things could possibly do, okay? Considering this is a low right back here, you mark it right there. There's your high, and there's your low. Your first objective on this would be right there. Now, remember, we're only risking right now $200 to be a farmer, okay? And here is $14 beans. Okay, here they're 10. Now you multiply $4 a bushel times 5,000. That's a $20,000 move for right now. If it works for a $200 risk. Now that's not a bad deal. You know, the odds of it happening are probably only 20%, but look at the odds on that. That's what you want to be trying to do. Okay, you know, we've had some pretty good ones through this year. We've been pretty lucky on the downside. We've had a couple bad ones, but basically, you know, you're going to catch them once in a while. This is the same thing we were doing in the gold market when it was 33.65 and nobody wanted it. After it dropped 150 points the last few days, today everybody wanted it. And that's the whole key, that sometimes they're buyers and sometimes they're sellers. All you're trying to do is to enter a market where you don't have to risk very much. Don't ask how much money I can make. This is pie in the sky. This is where you got to focus, how much you're going to risk to be that farmer. And that's why, you know, I've been talking about that for quite a while. In fact, every day that thing had been sitting there for a long time and it's hit it. So that doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but that's it. So that's all I can do. I hope my charts are up to date because I've had some data problems today. Looks like it is. Let me double check one thing just to be sure. Looks like Bart's not going to be able to make it today, so we'll have him on. Maybe tomorrow he'll be on, be able to get on. Okay, let's double check. I have to check and see if my feed is coming in. It probably isn't. Let's double. Yeah, feed's working. So it's just very quiet. Nothing going on here. Let's move on a little bit. Let's see. The S&P still not got to the 382 level. Let's see if the Dow Jones made it. And the Dow Jones has been weaker, so I highly doubt whether the Dow Jones made it, but we'll double check. And I know the NASDAQ has been very weak, and so that hasn't been able to do it. Let's get this smaller time frame up on the Dow, and you can see it also has not got to that 382, it looks like. Let's double check. Oh, it did. The Dow Jones hit it. By golly, there. The Dow Jones went to 422.22. It's now a little bit below it. So if you got filled in that, put your stop at 422.50. Only have to risk about $150 if that's right. We'll check the NASDAQ when we get right back, folks. 877-927.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Okay, someone asked, how did I meet Bart? Well, it was the Money Show back in 2000, and he was there, and I met him, and just by himself, and he's interested in Fibonacci numbers, and we became friends. He became a student of mine and worked really well. And there were, in his group, there were 4 in his Top Gun group. The leader of the group was John. His call name was Rooster. And then there was Jeff. I can't remember Jeff's call name. Then there was Bucky. His call name was Bucky. And then there was Bart, and he was the first one. Then Bucky came to me about a year later, and he was in Florida trading, and he was doing pretty good with just the ABCD and Fibonacci numbers, trading the currencies. And then he had an offer to go to Kuwait to teach the pilots there how to fly the F-18s. And his wife said, there is absolutely no way that I am going to go. And he had 3 little kids. He talked her into going, and folks, when he got there, they put him in a mansion. She had a butler, a chauffeur, a cook, a housekeeper. She had access to a private plane anytime she wanted to go shopping anywhere. It took her 14 years to get her out of there. Bucky finally retired, and they were there 14 years where he taught them. He traded, of course, but then also was a thing doing it. And, of course, John, who was Rooster, he's way up in the NSA, folks. He's you don't hear about him very much because he's top secret. But those are the guys that I worked with and got to know him and got to meet him every time we went to New York or Baltimore. In fact, we had a wedding in the family at the Naval Academy because my father's brother had graduated from Annapolis in 1946, and Bart set it up, and we got to be married at the chapel and stuff, and so it was a lot of fun. Anyway, he's a super guy. He's got like 6 grandchildren now, 2 sets of twins, and doing great with the market. So that's it. He works hard at it, though, folks. He really puts the time in. Okay, now we've talked about that soybean trade. That's what I'm going to look at. We've already looked at that. Let's go back here and look at the one. Let's just a second. Someone asked a question about a stock. Just a second. That's Tesla. Let's get up here and see what it's doing, because Mr. Trump, or what is his name? Mr. Elon. Hold on. let's get it up. I think he's retired from his doji business, I guess. I don't watch the news, but I saw something this morning about it. This is the daily. You can see here we were up earlier, and now we're basically still up on the day, lower than the price of the day. Let's look up here on the daily. You can see here we had that big move up. And here's another example, folks. Look, market opens on the low, opens on the high, opens on the high. Look at that. Opens on the low, opens on the low, opens on the high, opens on the low. That opening price is really good, folks. The way it's good is that if you're in a position and you're losing and you're below the opening price, your odds of that winning that is only about 20%. Okay? Now, if we go back and use that same idea with the soybeans, let's just give me a second here if I can pull them back up again. Well, that's July beans, but we'll look at July beans. That's close enough. And here's where we are. We're going to get this up here, and we're going to put them on a short-term basis here. And okay, here's the opening. See, we're above the opening. See, there was the opening of the beans right here. This is the overnight, and there's your opening, and they were higher. So that's a good sign. If you're long, you got a good chance of that winning. Just same as the November beans, doing the same thing. So you got odds in your favor for that. That's why it's not a bad trade for several different reasons. And believe me, these things work the same in any market. Let's just do this to show the folks. I did a lot of research on this. I might as well share some of it. All we're going to do now is switch down to bar standard, and I want to change these to black because they're hard to see in the red, and we'll just get this up here, and there we go, and now you'll be able to see it here. Blow it up a little bit, and you're going to see. Now this is the daily. Oh, this is 13 minute. I got to do the daily. I hope it'll transfer. No, it didn't. Well, I got time to do it. What the heck? This is important, so let's do it. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here and change the bar charts from candles to bar standards. That's what I want. And I'm just going to make them both the same color. I already did that one. That's okay. Now move this one right here. Hold on a second. Put that one in black, so we'll be able to, I hope that does it. There's what we want to see. Okay, now all I got to do is clean all this stuff out, refresh everything, delete everything. That's what I want. Everything, all studies. Now, why doesn't it delete like it's supposed to delete everything? Well, one of those technical days. Okay, here shows you I can do it this way. There you go. That's a simple way. Okay, now, here, opens on the high, opens on the low, opens on the low, opens on the low, closer to the low, opens near the low, mid-range, opens on the high, mid-range, 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 opens on the low, opens on the low, opens on the low, mid-range, in mid-range, opens on the high, opens on the high. You go through a bunch of these, folks, and 65 to 70% of the time, the low is going to be either the high or low of the day. Today in the soybeans, it's not. You see, it's in the middle of the range right now because this is still the day's not finished. It opens near the high, okay, but the problem is they're using overnight data on this. That's the big difference. But anyway, that's all I'm looking at as I watch these things unfold during the day. Okay, now someone asked a question about Apple, and I wasn't able to answer it because I got cut off with the thing. And if you'll give me a second, I'll bring this up here. Okay, here's Apple. You can see the action here. This is just a half-hour chart, the last few days. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the daily on this because this stock is really getting beaten up by the White House and stuff, and where the reasoning is, I don't know what the answer to that stuff is. Okay, you can see we had a big move down here at this level right here. That was a monster ABCD pattern, like when the whole world bottomed on April the 7th. You can see the ABCD on Apple was right here. We did all of these, of course, when that was happening. You had a big gap, so you have to extend the 1.27 on the CD leg to find out what the real price swing is going to be. And as you can see, there it is right there. You can just move it over. You can see it measures to the exact price, which is 169, 170. And now we got all the way up to 215. Then we backed off, made a little ABCD pattern here. So it's still holding its own in here, but it's not acting as good. It was higher on the day. Now it's lower on the day. That's like most of the other stuff that we've seen here so far this morning. So that's the kind of thing that you want to be watching. Stocks and commodities, the charts all look alike. If you took all these things off, all the numbers, no one could tell you what that was. They couldn't tell you whether it was live hogs. Well, if they traded live hogs every day, they probably could. Speaking of live hogs, let's take a look at cattle. Because remember, we've been very bearish to cattle. And yesterday we had a really nice 786 to sell up against. Let's see if it's still working in our favor. Get this up here and take a look at it. It actually came up down a bit. There's where we are. Okay, here's today's action. All right, there's your ABCD that we're waiting to see. That's almost there. Hold on. Not quite. There it is right there. This is today's action. Okay, so you're up on the day. We're looking for this ABCD to complete right here. This is going to probably be for tomorrow, but that's when you want to be looking at. And that's what I'd be looking at right there. There was yesterday's price. There was your 78.6 yesterday. Had well over $1,000 in it. Now we're looking at this. Okay, we're going to take a break here. 877-927-6648.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Well, I don't want to forget December corn. Now, you can see December corn's come down 6 days in a row, and it's setting right at the 78% level. Just move that up here right now. We were originally trying to buy this at 429. That's our original buy was right down in here. We might still get there. That's this big ABCD. It's only 12 cents away, folks, so I would still have that order working. And if you buy it at 429, you got to put a stop at 409. This time you got to risk $1,000 to be a corn farmer as opposed to risking just $200 being a soybean farmer. But that's the one you want to do. But if you're in both of them, just pick one or the other, because you don't want to be you don't want to be long wheat, you don't want to be long corn and long beans. You got triple leverage. The problem is the leverage works the wrong way. You get tagged pretty bad. So pick one that you like. The best one, in my opinion, is the soybeans, because they're stronger. They're looking pretty good. They're the more valuable crop because it's cooking oil of soybean oil, which is 20% of the product, and the meal, which is mainly for feed and synthetic hamburgers and stuff, which good luck with that. Anyway, that's what I'm paying attention to here today, and I think we're going to have a pretty good growing season with scares. That's what I'm looking for. Little scares of a little too hot, a little too wet, whatever it happens to be, the market will move. And then what you want to do is try to get on one of these runs like this, and that's when it's a lot of fun. Just like we did on the stock market on the way down, folks, till April the 7th, when everything changed. The whole world changed on April the 7th. When the tariffs, now that it looks like the tariffs may become toast, who knows? Anyway, that looks like the end of the show coming up today. We're going to have Jim Bartolioni on tomorrow if internet works over there in the San Bernardino County. He's part of that, where Paula is, and so they've had trouble for weeks and weeks, and they're still having trouble. So that's it, folks. Live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.